Hey folks, this is Christopher again checking in for TradeTaxPlus, Center of Excellence. This is the second technical video for this month, and I'll briefly touch on what the issues are if you register for VAT. What about goods and services that you've acquired prior to the date of registration? So the good news is that any goods or services that you're bringing into the enterprise, so those are goods that you've purchased before you were a VAT vendor or registered as a VAT vendor, and also certain services, for example, long-term rental agreements. Those come into the enterprise, they're then used for enterprise purposes. You do get a deduction, but the difference is you do not get an input tax deduction, you get an adjustment. Now the adjustment is a section 16.3F adjustment. So you can see 16.3 A and B deal with input tax, and from there onwards C deals with deduction. So this is a deduction. It means it's not driven by tax invoices, it's driven by something else. So what is that something else? In this specific case, two things. The one is you need to have a tax invoice, but your VAT number will not be on that because you haven't been a VAT vendor when the documentation was issued initially. That's 100% fine. SARS cannot insist on a tax invoice with your number on it. 100% fine. The other issue is the amount of the deduction is determined with reference to the market value, or rather the lower of the original cost or the market value at the time that it enters the enterprise. So if you do have furniture and all sorts of things that's coming into the enterprise, you need to get that valued. Property specifically, because that's where the big numbers lie. You need to get that valued, get a proper valuation, and that's part of the documentation that you need to make that adjustment. So yes, the good news is you do get an adjustment in respect of past assets acquired. Bad news is there's some work that needs to be done to make certain that you've cemented the basis on which you've claimed that input tax deduction. Okay, so that's the end of this video. In the last video, we're going to look at successive supplies. I hope you'll enjoy that, but for now, it's me, Chris Heteron, checking out for TradeTaxPlus, Center of Excellence.